In Asia, markets saw gains today as investors remain cautiously optimistic about trade negotiations between the U.S. and China, which wrapped up on Wednesday after 3 days. Japan's Nikkei 225 advanced 1.1%, while the Topix also gained 1.1% to finish its trading day with almost all sectors rising. South Korea's Kospi gained nearly 2% to close at 2,064.71. Australia's benchmark ASX 200 rose nearly 1%, with all sectors advancing. The mainland Chinese markets also saw gains today, with the Shanghai Composite rising around 0.71%, while the Shenzhen Composite advanced 0.543% to finish its trading day at approximately 1,306.95 points. Meanwhile, Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index jumped more than 2.1% as of its final hour of trade. And U.S. stock futures rose slightly on Wednesday following news that the U.S. and China have concluded their trade talks. As around 4:20 a.m. Eastern Time, Dow futures climbed 87 points, indicating a higher open of 66 points. S&P 500 futures were barely above the flat line, while the Nasdaq futures were also slightly higher. Now, traders are hopeful of a resolution to the U.S.-China trade war and are eagerly watching for any signs of a potential deal. Investor focus will also likely be attuned to political development as the U.S. government shutdown showed no signs of letting up. President Donald Trump delivered an address on immigration and border security on Tuesday night, where he made his case for the proposed wall along the U.S.-Mexico border, a key sticking point inhibiting progress towards a funding deal to reopen the government. In terms of economic data, MBA mortgage applications are due at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. And away from the equities market, the World Bank has projected global economic growth to fall to 2.9% in 2019 from 3% recorded in 2018 amid rising downside risks to the outlook. The bank has also forecast growth among advanced economies to drop to 2% this year. World Bank Chief Executive Officer Kristalina Georgieva explains that as economic and financial headwinds intensify for emerging and developing countries, the world's progress in reducing extreme poverty could be jeopardized. She advises that countries should invest in people, foster inclusive growth, and build resilient societies in order to keep the momentum. Similarly, Ms. Georgieva warns that intensifying trade tensions could result in weaker global growth and disrupt globally interconnected value chains. And Uganda has defended its ballooning public debt, saying it's sustainable and it would borrow with care in the future. The government has also dismissed concerns from the central bank and the government's auditor that growing indebtedness posed risks to the economy. The East African nation's appetite for credit has accelerated over the last decade, fueled by leader Yoweri Museveni's plans to expand transport and energy infrastructure. But critics say the escalating borrowing could spark a crisis along the lines of those the country experienced in 1990s and early 2000s before the World Bank forgave loans. Meanwhile, Uganda plans to pick the winning bidder for the end of 2019 to build and operate a $1.5 billion road project under a public-private partnership model. The planned 95-kilometer highway will connect the capital Kampala with Jinja, an industrial town in the east of Uganda. The road forms part of a broader transport artery linking the Kenya coast to landlocked Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and South Sudan, as well as the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. And Tanzania has named a new mining minister amid a prolonged spat between the government and gold producer Acacia over a $190 billion tax bill, which has severely limited the London-listed company's operation in the East African nation. Doto Biteko, whose appointment was announced on Tuesday, is the third mining minister President John Magufuli has appointed since he was elected in 2015. Biteko comes from Magufuli's home region and has been deputy mining minister since January 2018. And the United Nations says that Nigeria lost an estimated $2.8 billion in revenues in 2018, mainly due to maritime and oil-related crimes. Figures from UN Office for West Africa and the Sahel shows that oil-related crimes resulted in the loss of nearly 2.8 billion naira, while maritime crime and piracy continues to pose a threat to peace, security, and development in the region. The Secretary General of the World Body, Antonio Guterres, explains that between January 1 and November 23, 2018, there were 82 reported incidents of maritime crime and piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. And the head of the Libyan National Oil Corporation, Mustafa Sanala, has been speaking about Libya's production in 2018 and the corporation's plans to double current output. Libya is one of Africa's top 5 oil exporting countries.
Libya aims to increase its oil production to 2.1 million barrels per day from 953,000 barrels per day currently. According to the NOC boss, reaching that target hinges on improving security conditions in the country. He reiterated his calls for ensuring the security of workers to allow for the resumption of production at the 315,000 barrels per day Sahara oil field, which was taken over on December the 8th by tribesmen, armed protesters, and state guards demanding salary payments and development funds.
Our production today is 953,000 barrels to be specific. Our production before the events of the Sharara field was 1,300,000 barrels. The average production figure for 2018 is 1,107,000 barrels, and these are excellent figures.
Libyan authorities issued arrest warrants for 37 suspects over attacks on key oil ports in the east of the country and a military base in the south. Tripoli and western Libya are run by a UN-backed government, mainly supported by armed groups, while eastern Libya is controlled by a rival administration. The country has been riven since Muammar Gaddafi was toppled in 2011.
We have a great deal of cooperation with the Chinese National Oil Corporation. As you can see, the trade exchange with China is in billions. We announced them at the time. We have cooperation with Chinese companies, and a trip to China is planned in the first quarter of the year. I will be leading the delegation, accompanied by a group from the administration of the National Oil Corporation. We will be in China soon, where we will launch more trade ties.
Libya is one of Africa's top 5 oil exporters.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, we do a crossover to the Nigerian Stock Exchange for an update on today's trading activities. Just stay with us.